hold on to your butts, because Trump just signed the highly anticipated U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Executive Order. So let's break down exactly what was signed, what it means for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency assets, and the larger geopolitical implications that I think we're going to see coming from this event. TLDR, it's bullish, guys. For some reason, Bitcoin sold off on this. Too much expectation, I guess. Look, here's the footage of the official signing from last night.
Today we're signing, this is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And I made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Now, what exactly did Trump just authorize? Well, just a few minutes after the signing, White House crypto czar David Sachs posted this explainer over to X. Now, there's been some confusion as to what Sachs is actually saying here, so I'm going to read the most relevant parts of the post, and then we're going to discuss. So, quoting David Sachs, he says, "The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the federal government that was forfeited as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. This means it will not cost taxpayers a single dime." It is estimated that the US government owns about 200,000 Bitcoin. However, there has never been a complete audit of how much BTC the government owns. The executive order directs a full accounting of the federal government's digital asset holdings. The U.S. will not sell any Bitcoin deposited into the reserve. It will be kept as a store of value. The reserve is like a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrency often called digital gold. The Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin. It's very important, take note of that, provided that those strategies have no incremental costs on American taxpayers. In addition, the executive order establishes a U.S. digital asset stockpile consisting of digital assets other than Bitcoin, which have been forfeited in criminal or civil proceedings. The government will not acquire additional assets for the stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. The purpose of the digital asset stockpile is responsible stewardship of the government's digital assets under the Treasury Department. Now look, there's a lot to dissect here, okay? A lot of implications, what it means for Bitcoin. Will they buy Bitcoin? What about the altcoins? But before we break down what all of this means, I want to take a moment to let you know how you can get $50 for free with Femex, one of the top crypto exchanges. Look, markets go up, markets go down, but you can trade both ways and make money both ways. Even if it feels a bit dirty making money shorting sometimes. And the OG exchange, Femex, is a great place to do it. It's available to everyone, everywhere. It has deep liquidity, all the top trading pairs, and currently they're running a crazy promotion that you may want to take advantage of. So you get $50 for free just for signing up using the link down below. You'll get a 20% deposit bonus. So you deposit $1,000, get $200 back, as well as a $1,000 trading bonus. Pretty damn cool, right? All you have to do, use the link down below to start your account, and you'll be eligible for all of those bonuses. Go check it out if you're a trader and you want to be trading in the markets and taking advantage of that offer, but also of all the trading opportunities available. Continuing, let's break down what the rest of this means. So there's two aspects to the executive order. The Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, super bullish. Don't know how big we bearish on that. And the U.S. digital asset stockpile, basically, they're not going to come buy your shitcoins, guys. Let's discuss each separately. So Trump has ordered the federal government to perform an audit of all the Bitcoin that it currently possesses and then to transfer that full amount to the Treasury Department. So right now, the Justice Department is holding around 200,000 Bitcoin. Now, as a bit of an aside here, some of that 200,000 Bitcoin might be returned to Bitfinex depending on the outcome of some court proceedings. Maybe the US only has about half as much as they think they do right now. But however much is left over will be sent over to the Treasury as the foundation of the American New Digital Gold Reserve. Bullish, with orders that none shall be sold moving forward. Bullish, guys, what the fuck? Now understand that this is exactly what Trump promised at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville.
Never sell your Bitcoin. And so, as the final part of my plan today, I am announcing that if I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. We'll keep 100%. I hope you do well, please. This will serve in effect as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile.
Now, this action, it's unbelievably bullish, but Trump's executive order yesterday went further. You gotta listen to this. Trump authorized the Treasury and Commerce secretaries, by the way, who are both like diehard Bitcoin bulls, especially the Treasury, the Commerce Secretary Lutnick, he's like hardcore orange pilled, to develop budget neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, provided that these strategies don't cost the taxpayers any extra money. This means that the executive branch will be looking for ways to purchase additional Bitcoin for the stockpile. America's gonna start buying Bitcoin. They're just not having the Fed print up the money printers. Oh, no, that's not how it works. The key caveat, the purchases cannot eat into congressional budgets. Now, there's a lot of ways this can be done. One way is that the executive branch can swap any reserve asset that they already hold for Bitcoin. Gold. Also grain, helium. Grain for Bitcoin, guys, let's go. No, but seriously, the gold reserves are insane. Because such a move wouldn't cost the taxpayers a single damn dime. It's just moving one reserve for another. So this is what we've got for Bitcoin. There's a lot of other bits of accounting work they could do too. The US government's Bitcoin is going to the Treasury with orders that none can be sold, and the executive branch is going to explore ways to buy more Bitcoin at no expense to the taxpayer, meaning they are going to get more Bitcoin, guys. Now, what about the digital asset stockpile? Well, any altcoins that the government has or will seize in the future will be sent to the Treasury Department. Fine. Orders that none of those will be sold? Fine. Not a problem there. I'm actually kind of happy that the US government's not going to be spending taxpayer money to buy up, a whole basket of random shit coins. The Bitcoin reserve makes more sense. It works similar to the Bitcoin reserve, the digital asset stockpile, with one difference. The executive order states that the executive branch will not be looking for any budget neutral ways to acquire additional altcoins, only Bitcoin. Now, before we get to the implications, let me make 2 points here to contextualize all this. Point 1, keep in mind the USA can do from the executive branch and what they can do congressionally. Everything we just discussed, these are executive branch actions, swapping some gold for some BTC. And Trump is going to go about as far as he can legally in order to establish and build up these Bitcoin reserves. Now, if you're looking at this and you're super disappointed because Trump didn't come out, guns blazing, announced the US is going to buy $1 million of Bitcoin with US dollars, and they're going to pump up the Fed and print a bunch of money and buy a bunch of Bitcoin, man, we're going to tax you and take some. But you forget the distinction between the executive branch and the Congress, okay? Point 2, this means that the Loomis Bitcoin bill, where she proposed let's buy 1 million Bitcoin for long-term strategic reserve, is very much in play still. Will it pass? Don't know. Other budgetary concerns might come first, but Trump has started the reserves, and if the American people want the U.S. to begin buying additional Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies to be added to the reserve, then they'll have to compel Congress to pass that bill. By the way, quick note on the digital asset stockpile, the Sovereign Wealth Fund is coming soon, and there's a chance that that may actually acquire some different altcoins via ETF products, just FYI. But guys, I mentioned this before. Trump's executive order yesterday, it's the chocolate sundae, okay? We got the sundae and the passage of the Loomis Bitcoin bill where the government goes out and buys more Bitcoin. That's the cherry on top. And them buying Bitcoin with the gold reserves or something, that's the sprinkles, man.
You get the ice cream, the hot fudge, the banana, and the nuts. Right now I get the sprinkles, and yeah, if this goes through, I get the cherry.
Okay, so how is the strategic reserve made in America narrative going to shift here from what occurred yesterday? Well, I think that the executive order tilts the narrative back clearly towards Bitcoin, and that's a positive thing. It should only really be Bitcoin, if we're being honest, right? Clearly, you can see how the executive order goes out of its way to elevate Bitcoin above everything else. Bitcoin is the one special coin in this market, realistically. Everything else is kind of, So Bitcoin definitely gets the biggest tailwind here. But when Bitcoin wins, everybody wins. I still think the other made in America coins, though, whether it be XRP, Solana, Cardano, Chainlink, Aptos, Movement Labs, Sui, all this kind of stuff, they still have a lot of extra momentum that can come in from this. And of course, what's good for Bitcoin usually ends up being good for the larger cryptocurrency space. Altcoins benefit when Bitcoin pumps. So this executive order will probably be the rising tide that lifts all boats, but don't overestimate what's going to happen tomorrow, but don't underestimate how this is going to impact the world in the next couple of years. Because there are larger geopolitical implications at play from this event yesterday. And make no mistake, regardless of whatever plays out short term for the price action over the next days and weeks, this executive order is a global checkmate. No other major nation has done this. Oh, sure, we have El Salvador stacking Bitcoin, but like it's a tiny little country. This is freaking America, man. No more powerful country in the world. This will put other nation states, US states, corporations, sovereign wealth funds on notice, and they're going to get pulled into Bitcoin's black hole. Just yesterday, the world's 8th largest economy, if it were its own independent country, Texas, passed a bill in their Senate to establish a state crypto reserve, a state Bitcoin reserve, okay? And that is something like half of all the other US states are still actively working on moving bills through their legislatures. Some of those are gonna fail, but a few will pass. You'll probably see Texas and, I don't know, Utah and Arizona and Florida, some of the more economically forward-thinking states that will go on board with this. But some sort of Bitcoin reserve will come for at least a few of the states, and then a few countries will do it. And on the global stage, this is big. This is absolutely massive, and I can't believe how big it is. Almost no one talked about it because everyone's like in a shit mood recently in the market. But David Bailey of Bitcoin Magazine, dude who orange-pilled Trump, is saying that China is having closed-door meetings about building their own strategic Bitcoin reserve. They have about 200,000 Bitcoin as well that they've confiscated from different scams over the years, by the way. Bailey has been on the bullhorn over the past several days saying that the US Bitcoin reserve is about to launch. He was right. He's a good source. He's called out a lot of other stuff before it happens because he's an insider. He knows what's going on. He's the one having the conversations with people. He's in the know. China's Bitcoin reserve is probably going to come, especially now they've seen the US do it. How long can Russia hold back? How long can other countries hold back? So look, I think there's multiple other nations that have been or will soon start their own Bitcoin reserves because the US making a move into Bitcoin creates a wild amount of game theory, a dynamic that forces other countries to actually do the same. I mean, seriously, if you're any other country in the world and you've just looked and said, oh shit, the Americans have just added 200,000 Bitcoin to a long-term strategic reserve that they have no plans on selling, holy shit, what's our Bitcoin strategy? There's only 21 million coins. America's already got 1% of them. Think about it. So, guys, that's the story here. Lots of good things ahead for us. Short-term price action, who the hell knows? Equities could still cuck us a bit, but long-term, mega bullish. Thanks for watching.